Des from Aro-Tarot here, and yeah, I'm doing another speed painting one since, like, I could pull out things to just, like, show, but, like, at the same time, there's really nothing to show. So, I figured I'd just, do another paint thingy thing, or, a nice little speed paint, And originally, I was going to do day 14 and 15 together and, like, do 16 and 17 together. But for 17, there is something I can at least show. But also, like, I'm literally making this, like, well, actually it's after midnight, so I guess the 17th. I'm making this on the 17th. Because Monday, I forgot. Tuesday, I literally I had sewing guild in the morning, and then I hung out with my grandparents later, and I was dead tired since I had stayed up because I couldn't sleep. And then Blue Mage came out in Final Fantasy, so I was playing some of that before I had to go to the sewing guild early in the morning and hang out with some old ladies. And then today, Wednesday, I had a doctor's appointment. So there was that, and I could really only handle like one big event, especially when like there's a show on the telly, there's just a show on the TV, and I'm like getting glued to it. So yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I'm just doing 3 days in a row then. So day 14. The question is, which tarot decks give you the most insight by way of the imagery and symbolism of the cards, rather than intuition or basic tarot knowledge? And I find this question to be confusing because, like, I can look at the imagery and the symbols in the deck, but I'm still using my intuition. Like, there is no time am I not using my intuition. If I'm not using my intuition, then it's probably a new deck, and I have no idea how to work with it yet. So, yeah, not good. Like, and even with symbols, I don't really look at symbols in decks, like, at all. I prefer decks that really aren't heavy on symbolisms either. I think the only symbol that I really, really, really like the idea of is when, like, the character itself is, like, a symbol of the card. Like, like the Justice League Tarot and the Vertigo Tarot. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, have, like, Constantine, like, as the Magician or as the Fool in the Vertigo Tarot. Like, I just look at the character, and, like, literally the character is just such a great symbol for the card meaning in general. Like, I get it. But, like, for other things, I'm not really one for, like, symbols and symbolism too much. Like, even when, like, I'm creating something, like, in my head, I'll be like, oh, like, this means this. But, like, it's not really symbol-y heavy. Usually there might be, like, one symbol, and even in that way, like, it's still not, like, most of the time I sometimes feel like I'm the only one that's going to get it, but, like, at the same time, I'm the only one looking at it, So, like, I'm not really into, like, the whole thing, and literally the only deck that I could think of really was maybe, like, the Tarot, because the Tarot was the deck back for the, it was the month of spreads back in 2017. And I used the Tarot for a good chunk of that challenge. And that was the deck, and just me having to do spreads every day, that kind of got me to, like, look at the artwork. Like, I started to get messages, like the cards are speaking more through the images, like, I would look at it and be like, oh, this bird, is looking over there, or, like, this rat's more like this. Like, that was the deck that got me to look more of the artwork. But again, at the same time, like, I feel like it still doesn't work with this question, because it's insight by way of imagery and symbolism rather than intuition or basic tarot knowledge, and I was still using my intuition, you know? I wasn't, like, sitting down studying the artwork of the card. Like, the card was placed in front of me. I just drew it, and I'd be like, oh, that bird there. Yeah, this is the message, you know? Like, it was still coming, because that's just how I read. Like, I don't sit there and go, you know, like, oh, like, this here means this, and oh, and then this here, you know? Like, it's very more snappy. Like, I literally, when I was writing down these questions in advance and answering them all in one sitting beforehand, I literally wrote that, like, messages are more like a snap, you know? Like, literally, you put the card down, and it's like, oh, that. If I don't get it right away, it's usually because I just got the deck, or I haven't worked with it in a while, really. And even then, usually, I'm looking at, like, the guidebook to just kind of, like, give me a little hint, at what the deck's saying, you know, because sometimes you get a new deck, and it's speaking in a language you don't know, and you're like, I don't speak this language, you know, and then you pick up the guidebook to help translate it, and you're like, oh, okay, and then, you know, you start to learn the language of that deck, and then you can speak the language of that deck, and it's all good, you know? So, like, yeah, like, if I'm not just getting, like, quick, intuitive messages, then usually I'm doing something wrong, something's going wrong. So, like, with this question, it was kind of just really hard. Like, that's just not how I read in general. So, yeah, the closest I could say is maybe, like, the Tarot. But even then, after the Tarot, I started to, like, the messages in just some decks would just kind of come more through the imagery. Like, that's happened with the Dreaming Way Tarot, as well. I got hair on my glasses. But yeah, it's not, well, I just slapped my table. Like, yeah, can't really say anything else. For day 15, the question is, what is your tarot to go bag, your tarot travel bag? And it's like, Des, why aren't you just showing off your to-go bag? Like, literally, like, why are you still doing art in this video? Like, well, the thing is, I don't have, like, a tarot to-go bag. I have my satchel, or my mini satchel, which I have shown off on the channel before. I mean, I guess maybe just pull these up for day 18 again, like, literally, if anyone wanted to know what they look like. Literally, it's a satchel that I made that I put my stuff in, you know, if I'm going out of the house. You know, like, my wallet, and, like, a nail file, and, like, a pen, yeah, or, like, just things that I just want to take with me, which is usually a deck. Like, when I get a deck, and I want to take it with me somewhere, which is usually to my Nana's, or the Sewing Guild, which I then go to my Nana's right afterwards, because I don't go out of the house. Literally, the only thing I go out of the house to do is go visit my Nana, like, once a week, my Nana and Papa, and then, like, I'll go to the Sewing Guild with my Nana, like, when we have the meetings, and then, of course, I go over there afterwards, you know, because I gotta hang out with my grandparents, because they're cool. But besides that, I, like, never go out of the house, like, really, ever. Like, yeah, I mean, concerts, if we want to go out shopping, ooh, and when the psychic fair comes around, gotta go to the psychic fair, of course, and then we're gonna eat at, like, hibachi sushi afterward. I can't talk. Hibachi sushi afterwards, and, like, I'm gonna eat some egg custard. This is gonna be great. But, yeah, I don't really go out of the house much. So, yeah. Usually what I'll do is I look over at my shelf, and I'll be like, oh, yes. Like, maybe, like, my decks today that I just had my purse. Oh, the Prisma Visions Tarot, you know? And it's got such a nice box. And then I just put it in my satchel. And that's all I do. And then maybe, like, today and, like, the other day, when I went over to my Nana's, I was like, I'm going to take my new Open Portals Oracle. I don't even know if I'll use it over there, but I want to have something with me, because, you know, I'm that kind of person. So I'll put that in my bag, and I'm like, ooh, maybe, like, a tarot deck, too, because I wanted to read with these two together, and I'll put that in my bag, and that's all I do. And it's like, well, Des, what if the deck's like a tech box deck, not ones that come in nice boxes like these ones do, and these are great boxes. I love the Open Portals box. It's amazing. I love it. It's great. It's a great deck so far. Well, pretty much all my decks that don't come in a hard, nice, sturdy box that, you could just knock on, they're all in tarot bags that I have made. And they are my tarot wrap bags. Wrap bags. Which, if I pull that deck out of, literally, you usually can see them in any of my videos. Like, literally, they're just wrap bags that I've made because they're easy to make and I can make them. And I've made, like, ones for, like, pretty much a good chunk of my decks. So, yeah, then I'll just throw the wrap bag in my bag. Yeah, that's literally it. So, there's not, like, really anything to show. Like, I don't even, like, go, like, oh, I gotta have this with me and this. I just take the deck, That's about it. And if I'm not putting it in my bag, it's because I'm going over to my Nana's, and I'm taking a few things, like maybe my color pencils, which are in a nice case now, and maybe I'm taking my sketchbook, which I did last time, and also my reading journal, because I was listening to some audiobooks, and I got to take some notes, because the book I'm listening to right now, I watched the television adaptation, and I'm loving it, and I like to compare the things, so I'm writing a bunch of things down. So, I gotta take all these things. So what do? I put them in my cheeseburger backpack. And if you don't know what the cheeseburger backpack is, just look up Steven Universe, because that's literally what it is. Even the cheese is a pocket! But yeah, I just put them in my backpack. I don't do anything special. I just put them in my bag. That's literally it. Nothing to it, So, yeah. Day 16 is, what tarot card in the deck do you look out for the most when you get a new deck? And if you don't like the card, does it ruin the deck for you? And I wrote a little bit down. Not too much. This one's kind of hard because, like, there are some cards where I'm like, yes, if they look good. Because I have favorite cards. Like, why wouldn't I have favorite cards? But, like, at the same time, some of the cards that are my favorites, I notice that, like, some cards that are my favorites, like, I look out for, and then there are some cards that I look out for that I don't even realize I'm looking out for until, like, I'm looking at a deck, And yeah, usually they don't ruin a deck for me anyway. It's more so like a bonus. So, generally the cards that are my favorite in decks are the Tower. The King of Cups is literally my favorite tarot card. I also really like the Magician, the Three of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the swords. I love the swords suit. And yeah, I think the only one that I, like, consciously look out for is maybe the Lovers. Because, like, a bad Lovers card, I'm kind of like, but I don't expect anything. But if a Lovers card is really good, like, I love the Lovers card in the Prism Visions deck, for instance. I literally have a print of that card because it's so beautiful. Like, a card like that, it's like a nice little cherry on top, like, well, I mean, like the saying, because if you put a cherry on my milkshake, I'm just going to throw that off. Like, why would I want to eat that? But, like, it's just a nice little cherry on top. It is a nice little bonus. And it's just like, OMGG, this card looks so good. Thank you. And it'll probably end up being one of my favorite versions of that card. Like, for instance, which you'll see for the Day 17 video, I have favorites for each card, too, actually. And I haven't been working in my tarot journal like I should be working in it, because I suck. But, yeah, the little booklet that I have, which, because it's a traveler's notebook. So for the one that's supposed to be, like, meanings, which, now that I'm kind of making a tarot deck the way that I wanted to, my first two inserts will actually, I guess, get some use once I start working on that more. So it's a good thing I haven't written anything. But, like, I have two cards of that specific card from certain decks that I consider, like, my favorites. At least, like, the ones that I had at the time, which It's still most of my decks. I haven't gotten I don't think too many more tarot decks since I did that, at least I don't think. But, like, for instance, if you go to the Lovers, I'm pretty sure the Prismavisions one's actually there. Let me just flip. Oh, there it is. Yep, you have the Prismavisions and the Nicoletta Ciccoli Lovers, because I really like that one, too. For the Hierophant, you get the one from the Dragon Age Inquisition Tarot, and you get the one from the Ostara Tarot, because they're gorgeous. So, like, yeah, for me, it just ends up being more of, like, oh, this is so nice. This is just a complete cherry on top. I am so happy. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I know I didn't even really ramble during this video. OMG, what's happening to me? I'm not really, well, I did ramble, but, I didn't ramble and make, like, 3 questions worth, like, 30 minutes, since I do have a habit of doing that. I'm trying to close my journal as I'm talking and holding my phone. There we go, I did it. Good job on me. I have no idea what that was. Oh, maybe it's because it's almost 2 in the morning. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the 3 questions. I still, as I'm recording this, I haven't decided which one of the art videos that I'm doing. I assume that this is a video of my character Cassius, because I think I was going to save Charlotte, which is the companion piece, for later. So yeah, it should be Cassius. And yeah, literally, I made this one and the one of Charlotte, which I'll end up doing in a video, because I drew them when I was listening to an audiobook, just like a little sketch, and then I kind of was digitally painting this, because in my sketchbook, I had 2 pages that ended up getting, like, one of them was dirty, and then the other one ended up getting some marker on it by accident, so I was like, oh, I'll cover it in washi tape, and I'll have those 2 pretty pictures of my characters with some pretty washi tape in the background, and they'll be, like, right there, looking at each other, like, not really, but if you close the book, they're looking at each other, and it'll be great. So I did that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my video for these 3 days. And yeah, so anyway, that was day 14, 15, and 16 of Bethany's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge. I'm Des from Aro-Tarot, and I am logging off, so bye!